the update everyone's been waiting for. I have a lot to talk about, so let's just get into it right away. All right, so if you are new here, I am Nikki. I am a homeschool mom to an only child who's in 4th grade. Today, I want to update you. I've been if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably been noticing my teases towards things are changing, everything changed. And now I really want to talk about it, but there's so much that this entails. I might break this up into a 2-part video, or this is going to be like 30 minutes. So, I want to start off with our October. For the most part, our October went well. It was the busiest month ever between appointments and just life, and I tried really hard to balance all of the things, but as you can imagine, that is not easy to do in a busy month like October. We had amazing weather, so we tried all month long to get outside as much as we could, because this is unheard of for October. Usually we're cold, we're rainy, we're starting to get stuck inside. And so that was not the case. We've had an unusually warm season of fall, and so we've been doing all the things. We've had pumpkin patches, we've had field trips, we've had play dates, we've had bike time, we've had walks. Our neighbor has taken down the 30-year-old fence that lined our property, and so we're having to take the dog out every time to go to the bathroom now. We have 2 dogs, so we have little old man Immortal, and we have our younger one who is pretty high energy still for being almost 4. So that kind of took a riff in our plans. So we've been taking the dog, bringing the dog, on top of everything else. And he gave us little to no notice that this was happening. So we had to get the yard in order and take things away from the fence, and it was a mess. I mean, the fence has been there for 30 years, so it was a project. Anyways, let's talk about school. School has been a mess, and I don't want to sound like a fraud or it makes me feel like I am when I come on here and I'm like, everything's changed. But the fact of the matter is, everything has changed. I have still not yet been able to find that balance between work, being here enough to do school, co-op, stuff like that. And I think we are just overscheduled at this point, and we need to start reining it back. And I have a choice. I could either push through, or we could change our schedule around that we would start to school at night. And part of me really dreads that, because if it's especially on the days that I work, I'm going to be tired. Wednesdays, I usually have a meeting or some sort in the evening, so I also don't get home until about 6:30. So I feel like that's kind of out, and it just doesn't feel doable. And I think she's going to be tired, but she also thrives on some sort of routine, and I feel like taking school out of her daytime to do it at night is going to leave her with a whole lot of what the heck do I do all day. If you have an only, I'm sure you can relate, but we have decided not to do school at night, so I have made other arrangements. First of all, my kid has started to struggle. Now, what I didn't take into consideration in past updates and videos where things were going amazing is that once the curriculum hits a certain point, it stops reviewing things and new concepts are taught. And I don't know why it never dawned on me that that was why things were going so great to where they're now going not so great. because we're no longer reviewing. We are getting into the new, harder, more difficult concepts. And when I'm not here and she's doing things independently, I'm really struggling because she's unable to do some of this stuff. And so she's been asking Google, which is a big nope, because Google will give you the answer, especially for math, but it's not going to show you how the work was done. It might if you ask it the right way, but she's clearly not. So I was running into this like, wait, how did you get that answer? Going through and, you know, grading it, but like her work isn't accurate to match the answer. And so it came down to she's starting to struggle with some of these newer concepts. And that was my cue. I should have been listening to myself in the past, and I tend to ignore it because I keep having that little voice in my head that's saying I'm not doing enough. And so she thought she wasn't doing enough, so we added all this stuff, and now she's like, now it's a whole other different situation to handle. So we have completely stopped our math curriculum right now. I'm not saying I'm quitting it, because I think the program for her works okay. I love the videos. I love that she has both access to a video for every single lesson and a written lesson through The Good and the Beautiful. I love that for her, but I need to be there, and I think we need to back up a little bit. And I struggled with this because, again, we're gonna fall behind. All these like stupid thoughts go through my head, and I'm like, nope, we're gonna stop. So we are no longer, this whole week we have not done The Good and the Beautiful math. So what I have done, and I know this seems like silly to go this far. So we have gone into this bad boy. If you have not heard, seen anything about this, I will be happy to do a whole separate video on this, but we're gonna dive into this book for a while. This is going back to the basics. It tells you not to skip. I think you can utilize this book however you wish, but it also says that you can fast track this book to complete it in less than a year. And you can complete volumes 1 through 7. This is volume 1. To be ready to take the SAT, ACT, GED, or any college placement test quickly if you power through these. So they're pretty easy to power through, in my opinion, but they're very down. I'm talking, we went down to the basics. We are back to, I'm trying to get to the beginning of a lesson here. We are going back to the basics. So we started back with addition and subtraction. This was so black and white and so boring, in my opinion, but it's working. And I need to know that we're not skipping through, we're understanding, we're able to do our math facts just a little bit quicker. I am not asking her to memorize, because when you have ADHD, memorizing is like asking someone to do something that they're not quite capable of. And I get it, because I have a really hard time memorizing things. So we're going to go through that book, and I'm at least going to go until we start to get into multiplication and division. We're not far from that point. We've been kind of skimming through. I'm not having her write out all the answers to the problems. Some of them are very much verbalized, and we're doing those together. And so it's easy to just boom, boom, boom through the lesson. So we could do like 5 lessons in a day if we really put our heart and soul into it, because it's easy work in the beginning. But now that, because The Good and the Beautiful is going into long division, and I was like, whoa, we need to slow down, because I need her to be really solid before we start to go into the different levels of long division. And it's not like she wasn't understanding the concept of long division. It was those math facts that were catching her up. So I'm like, let's take a break. So instead of like taking a break fully, which is what I thought we were going to do for the rest of October, because we still have an extremely busy end of October, and between trunk or treats and field trips and all these like fall activities, that everything gets shoved into the end of October. So we have there's a lot going on. And so I'm like, well, we should just take a break. There's no point in forcing school. But then I'm like, wait, taking a break leads to no routine, which leads to a lot more screen time. And I don't want that either. So we're not going to take an actual break. We're just going to be changing what we're doing for now. Now, we've been doing a bunch of different things. We're not using any of the same curriculum that was downstairs in this schoolroom, and we were schooling from bed. I know, that's wild, right? Like, but taking us out of this like element that was down here and this like negative energy that seemed to be produced when we would come down here was like night and day. I don't know why we got more things accomplished and had better attitudes when we were upstairs in bed. No idea. Cannot tell you the science behind that, but I'm going with the flow. So on the day that I was not here, she dug into this book and did one of the, I don't know which one, because I told her she could pick any one. She didn't have to start from the beginning of the book. We started a brand new language arts program, and I'm kind of just taking this one off the seat of my pants, to be honest, because The Good and the Beautiful, as much as she was doing it and it was fine, I don't know how much she's actually like retaining from it, because it seemed like she's just down here trying to check a box. And so then I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And let's just like reiterate the fact that like I fear her falling behind or not retaining. And so I'm like, I gotta find something. So the first thing that I found was the My Father's World language lessons for today. We're done with this in like 5 minutes. I like that. We're doing it together. I like that. We did this 2 or 3 times last week, and I don't know, it's very different. This is very Charlotte Mason that we're not used to doing, but everything is extremely easy. Very black and white. I don't think there is some color when there's like picture study on some things, but I don't know, I'm kind of liking the approach. So we're gonna kind of stick with it for now and see, because it takes us so little time right now to do it. It could be something that we do together just when I have time. Like we can knock out a couple lessons in a day and say it's for the whole week if we need to, because it's so short and simple. I'm taking out writing completely for the rest of the year. No, we can't. I can't, she can't, it's a no in our house. I've done a lot of looking into this. I've talked to some friends, and all of them have encouraged me to just take a break, because we don't want to kill it. We don't want to kill it so bad that there's no coming back from this. She is still extremely young. She has a lot of years ahead of her to dive into the formatics of writing, if it's even fully necessary to do all of the formal stuff. So I have come up with an idea. We're gonna do, I don't even remember who I saw this on, but we're gonna do a newsletter. We're gonna send it out with our Christmas card, and we're gonna entail all the things of kind of what went on for 2023, or 4. Wow, okay, 2024. So I found these on Canva, and they're just these like map organizers, and I picked 2, and we're coming up with all the things, good, happy, accomplishing, proud moments that we had in this year, some of our trips, stuff like that. And then I picked another one that was more black and white, that was kind of maybe some sad things that happened this year, or some challenges, stuff like that. And that way we're going to start creating this newsletter. But first we had to collect our data. So once we get all of our ideas down onto paper, then we're going to start collecting pictures and seeing what pictures we want to include, because we can only include so much, right? I mean, knowing me, I can include a lot of pictures and just a little bit of writing, but we're going to see how we go. So I'm gonna have her start doing that once we come up with some of those ideas. If you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comments and we can film as we go. Next up is we are doing, I think I saw this from like Mama Librarian, or I forget, I don't know what her channel is. I can never remember people's channels specifically. But I've also noticed that in some of these books that she's been having to write answers down to, especially her Good and the Beautiful book and stuff like that, that she wasn't quite answering the questions the way that I answered questions growing up. And so I'm like, what is missing? And then I saw this girl's video and I'm like, holy crap, this is so true. So I don't know if you've ever heard of the race strategy, but found this on Teachers Pay Teachers. It was fairly inexpensive. I can try to remember to link it down below. But you restate the question into a statement to start your sentence. You answer all parts of the question. Then you give a cite of examples, specific examples from the text. And then E, you explain how your quote supports your answer. Brilliant. This helps kids grasp and understand how to formally answer a question. I'm not saying they have to answer every single question of their life like this, but I thought it was brilliant. So it comes with a bunch of these like examples. And so we are going to be like, there's a whole bunch of them. We're going to be tackling some of these and formally answering the questions. And I think she really enjoyed that. And so I also gave her a highlighter and I wanted her to highlight some of the text that I think that she would find important. So we're kind of doing that along with our language arts. And like I said, we're breaking it down. Like we're slowing things down a little bit, but we're doing new things that I think she's going to retain, and we'll see. I'm trying to give her those other skills that for whatever reason, like none of the curriculum we've ever come across has ever formally taught that. They would just, put a line and expect them to know what to write. So we're also got introduced to vocabulary. I love this. She seems to love it for now, but this is book D, which is for 4th grade. And I saw this on Nickie over at Homeschoolology. And I'm really, really excited about this book. So it comes with like a story. And so she reads, like this was a clip from Charlotte's Web. So she reads this story. She writes out the vocabulary. There's like 5 or 6 exercises that come with the vocabulary. And I do believe the exercises differ. We are doing this mostly together again because, I don't know, I really want us to be able to do some of these things together. The only thing I don't love is that they want them to look up the dictionary, the definition in the back of the book, which is kind of hard to have to open it up. I could tear out the page, but I don't think they're perforated pages, so that's annoying. So I have her use the teacher's manual because it's answers, but it's literally just the definition is written in. So she could just copy the definition. It's not really an answer, it's just a definition. She knows how to look that up. So we're doing that together, and I'm literally breaking it down to do like one tiny lesson per day or exercise, whatever. And so it comes out, it doesn't take us very long to complete. Just popping in here to say that I'm going to be ending here for our part 1, and I will be uploading part 2 tomorrow. to my channel. So if you want to hear the second half of our October update, then stay tuned for tomorrow's video. Sorry I broke it up, but this ended up being like a 45-minute long video, which I anticipated it happening that way because I just had so much to get off my chest. So I appreciate you all so much for watching. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.